Hi there, thanks for taking the time. In this video I will show you the HoloViz MCP. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol, and that's what can superpower LLMs and copilots in your editors and IDEs. And now there's one for HoloViz. It's currently very young, it's in my own repository, it should get to the HoloViz organization. But you can try it out, and I'll try to demonstrate and explain what it is. So, with the HoloViz MCP, you can discover components very easily in a chat interface. You get access to documentation. So we've built a vector store from the HoloViz documentation, including panel and hvPlot and HoloViews and param and datashader and so on. There's also support for extensions. So if you install panel extensions, your own panel extensions, then you'll be able to find information about viewable components, so UI components in there as well. And that will of course enable you to develop faster, get a better design, smart context, blah blah blah, so on. Like, it will really power you up. To get started, you can click one of these buttons. For example, for VS Code, I'm a VS Code user. And there's a little bit extra here on how you can manually set it up. So you will have to go into your settings.json file. You will have to have UV installed in your environment. And then you can install it from this GitHub repository for now. Like, we haven't released the Python package yet. We will later. So later you will be able to replace this with the name of the Python package. And then you can add extra packages that you want to install. So panel extensions will install all the official panel extensions that we know of, and then you need to run this entry point HoloViz MCP to start the HoloViz MCP server. So when you start up, you have to know a little bit that the first installation may take 1 to 2 minutes, because there's a lot of things, including PyTorch, that you'll be downloading and installing. And then when it's installed, we will also start documenting the index as soon as you start asking the first question that relates to documentation. And this process can take 5 to 10 minutes. So the MCP might seem unresponsive, and there might be a little bit of a spinning progress spinner or something like that. But you can go to the output and find this MCP HoloViz output, and you can sort of follow the progress. For example, here it started indexing the documentation, so you can see where it's going. Then what can you do with it? So of course you can ask what panel components are available for user output. You can ask that in the chat interface. Show me panel material UI components, etc. You can even ask it to build large dashboards using panel material UI components and best practices and with tests and everything. And it will actually get a very long way. It will have to have a little bit of guidance, but now it can look up so much more context that it's a great help for a copilot. Then down here you can see a little bit about what's possible to do, and that can also help you guide for good questions, right? You can get a list of all panel packages, so all packages that depend on panel. You can search panel for UI components. You can get a list of UI components. You can get specific information, the complete details, including docstring and parameters for a component. And you can also zoom in and get the parameters of a single panel component. That's often helpful because the LLM maybe believes there's a special parameter or attribute on for example, a button that doesn't exist, and then it can look up specifics here. You can also look up best practice information for some packages for now. We have for panel and panel material UI. There's a little bit about hvPlot, and we should extend that. Then you can get reference guides. You can get a single page. So for example, from the panel material UI website, it can discover like content like his, but it will look at and find that the raw documents instead. Those are easier to understand and comprehend for an AI. We will try it out in a little while, but let's jump back to the documentation. There's a lot more you can do, and there's also a little bit of utilities in there. So I think that should sort of be enough to start exploring. If you want to understand more or develop, configure, make special configuration or something like that, there is more information here. And there's also a roadmap you can look at. And if you try it out and experience issues, please report them as issues here. But let's try them out then. So now, what can we do? Well, we can first of all we can start and look at the settings JSON. Right, this is where the HoloViz server is installed. This is what you get when, for example, you click here VS Code install, or you follow the installation instructions here. Then you can see it is running. Let's just restart it. Then it actually jumps over here. And we can see different things down here. And yeah, there's some issue here that I didn't see before, so it's probably something I need to take a look at, right? But now it's restarting here. And you can see here it's a UV command. So it's updating, for example, the package itself, but maybe also some of the dependencies. And you can see it's installed in total like 165 dependencies in 8 seconds. That's because we had PyTorch installed already, I guess. So now I think it's there, but the connection is not fully there yet. But hopefully it's soon. Let's open the chat interface while we wait. So now we have the chat interface here on the right. Okay. So now it looks like it started, right? So now we have the MCP server running here, and it's built using fast MCP. And there are 11 tools in total. And that's the tools that are described here in the documentation. So blah blah blah. Where do we have these? It's the tools here that we went through. So actually there was some questions here. Let's just copy one of them to understand better. So what panel components are available for user input? It actually uses one of the tools. So it uses the search tool, it queries for input, and then it finds input. And it's a good idea to always allow. So yeah, it ran the panel search. It ran it again with other, like another query to do similarity searches, right? I can't click this one. Let's see. Okay, so it also looked for module or path panel widgets, right? It listed the components that are there, right? So it can really figure out how to use the tools. And now we have like a complete list of panel components, right, that we can use. We could take another question. So maybe actually an ask. So show me the panel material UI component. So panel material UI is a package that extends panel with material UI components. If you haven't heard about it, then it's because it's not really been communicated yet, but it provides like a beautiful set of components for a panel with a beautiful and nice like component gallery you can check out, where we are really investing in the documentation. So check this out. And there are some how-to guides on how to customize and make it beautiful. But while we wait here, a lot of things are going on. So now it actually searched for the question was show me panel material UI components, and now it can find these components. Right. Okay. So maybe I could write something like this. So a good prompt for this is like a little bit more of context, like explaining what kind of app we will be doing, that we'll be using panel material UI, that we wanted to save in a file and serve the app. Maybe also that we wanted to open in a browser and test with PyTest that it works. Let's see what it can do with this. So now it's creating a minimal demo app showcasing this. So first of all, it gets the best practice document for panel material UI, and we can inspect that. Now it's already moving on. Let's just inspect this. So it gets the best practices. So it gets the context of this. There's a lot of best practice here about what to do. For example, import panel as PN and import panel material UI as PMUI. Something that guides the LLM so that it actually understands this component library, even though that it's really new and not communicated. Okay, so what does it want to do now? Okay, that now it wants to understand the button, so it gets this. Let's continue. Okay, now it will create a demo app following the best practices. The more specific you can be, the better. Like telling it which plotting library, for example, whether you'll be using hvPlot, HoloViz, Plotly, eCharts, Altair, DeckGL, or something. Okay, so now it's working. I don't know if there's a file yet. No. So I guess it's planning. You can see it got the panel material UI best practices, but often it's a good idea to instruct it to also get the panel best practices, because then it gets the best from both worlds. Okay, so now it's actually starting. It's creating an app, blah blah blah. It's actually a lot of code, right, that it's creating. So let's see if it's lucky with all of this code. It's even put in like this, right? So we can do this. Yeah, so now it always wants to test first. I would love to find a command that sort of makes it run the development server with hot reload while developing, because it's just it's just very interesting, right, to watch what is going on as it progresses. It would be nice also if it could get some of that feedback. But like this is how it looks right now, right? And maybe it works. It looks like it works. There are some issues. You can see it like updates the entire layout here every time we change something, but it sort of works, right? Displays these. Actually, did we see the dark theme here as well? Yes, it looks nice. Okay. So what was it doing? It was trying to serve the app, and we served it on port 5007. Okay, so we'll actually open panel in a web browser as well, just by itself. Yeah, so it opened it. It's over here as we saw, and looks like it works. And now we'll just run a lot of verification tests. It would be better if it just did PyTest, I think, like persisting that, because then we have it for the future. I've tried to instruct it to do so, but I've not been able to so far. Now it wants to create a README file. I think we should stop it here. Like that's totally fine that we've showed what we can do, right? But then you would keep iterating, you would take a look at the code, you would test out the application, you would find issues, then you would maybe dump screenshots to the LLM to ask it to improve some things, or to write more tests, or to change some CSS styling or whatever. But all of that is like really easy now for the LLM because it has all this context. Thanks for watching.